Welcome to Armchair Expert. I'm Dax Shepard, and I'm joined by Monica Padman.
And it's important that you make that clear today.
Because there's two Monicas here today.
Yeah.
On a second trip.
Yes.
Monica Lewinsky.
Welcome back, Monica Lewinsky.
Yes, this was really fun. I really enjoyed this one. She has a new podcast out called Reclaiming with Monica Lewinsky. She has incredible guests.
Yeah.
And the theme's really awesome. It's about reclaiming your identity.
Yes. Obviously, she has had a very unique life.
Yeah.
And she's generous in talking about it, which is really nice and helpful. Like, she said so many things that I think are going to resonate with a lot of people.
Yeah.
She said one thing that I was thinking about for days.
What?
I don't want to say it.
Oh, you don't want to spoil it.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil it. I think it's going to hit with some people, and I hope it does. And BTS, we were in some emails after, and Emma was talking to her team, and they were like, it's so confusing.
Between the Monicas?
Yeah, so they had to start referring to it as my Monica.
Oh. I like that, my Monica.
Yeah.
Please enjoy, not our Monica, Lewinsky.
He's an armchair expert. He's an armchair expert. He's an armchair expert.
Rob found that. I didn't even know about it, and apparently I was in the dark. People made fun of me.
But you love it, right?
I love it.
Immediately. Yeah, you and Rob could have some weird
Thank you.
male-female home goods store that would service
Let's do
both
it.
ends of the...
Home
Let's do
goods.
it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you. Feel so short in this, right?
Yeah, it's a little sinky.
You know what's nice is the complaints are universal. They're not consistent. No one likes it, but for a myriad of reasons. So we can't even really figure out how to fix it. This is the third couch.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And again, it's not like everyone's like, it's too deep or it's too shallow or it's too this. It's just like, for you now, it's too short.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or I'm too short.
I think it is. I think people sink in it a little bit.
Okay.
Okay.
How are you doing?
Good. I'm a little tired this morning. Like, I was like, oh, this is not the kind of mindset you want to be and go to try to sound like a human.
No.
And I also keep thinking there's an earthquake happening today.
Oh, you
What
do?
is that about?
Is there?
No.
Like you have a premonition or you're feeling
No,
it?
it was like 3 times today. I sort of was, was that an earthquake? So
Okay, so a little on edge maybe.
I don't know.
You're anxious.
Is that it? You
Yeah.
think? Okay.
Would it comfort you at all to know that I too don't feel energized and
Good.
bright?
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. How about
Me
you?
either, actually.
Oh, maybe it's some weird thing with the moon.
Oh,
Or
I
some
have
shit
heard
like
March
that.
has a lot of astrological issues.
Oh, tell us about them, please.
A couple retrogrades, some other big thing.
Mercury's in retrograde, right? Which makes sense that here I am coming back to the
That's
podcast.
right. Circling all the way back.
What do I have?
You have a hair.
I have hair.
Oh.
No, they're so precious. I'm fighting so hard for every one of them.
Okay.
Do you have, let me start there.
Yeah.
Do you have, we're of the same age?
Okay. When's your birthday?
January 2nd.
Oh, okay.
I just turned 50.
Oh, no, I'm older.
Yeah, you're like a year and a half older.
Okay.
Get over it.
But congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
Right? Exactly.
Yeah, really well played.
Did you buy a jumpsuit on your 50th birthday?
I already own like 6. I had a whole jumpsuit phase like 2 years ago. And
It was a good phase.
but I guess what I'm asking, is there anything you're in a full-fledged battle with? So for me, it's my hair density.
Okay.
And I'm applying with a dropper in the morning and at night, and I hate what it does to my hair. It makes it really crunchy and greasy.
Okay.
And I'm like, yeah, I just got to fucking deal with it.
You know what I'd say is I think sometimes the old issues that you kind of go, wow, I've been working on this for a really long time. And you just observe it showing up in a different way.
Uh-huh.
So, and I think I had one of those this morning of, okay, I've sort of, I don't want to get too detailed, but I've like, I talked about this thing that's probably not the thing you should talk about, you know, when you have a first conversation with somebody that you've been set up with romantically. Probably not the thing to talk
it was
about.
too intimate.
Overshare?
Probably.
I do that.
It was an overshare. And I felt really comfortable with the person, which was nice.
Yeah.
But then after I just thought, okay, but I also told that same story the other week in a way that was a little inappropriate. And so clearly there's something that I need to deal with about this whole thing. I know this sounds super cryptic. Sorry.
No, I love it. I really want to have coffee so I can be told the same thing and then levy a verdict. There's two ways to think about it though, right?
Yeah.
One is you go ahead and be you, and you're going to weed out whoever that's not the right fit for them.
Because that served me really well for 52.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
51 and a half years.
So that's one side that's like defendable. But then the other side is exactly that. Yeah, I do that. And it does weed out people. And I think the people I'm weeding out are the people who are probably better matches for me. And I'm probably attracting like-minded, hyper-explosive, overly intimate, very quick, right? And you got to figure out which side of the line you're on.
I think we're all very self-aware people here, right? Who I think are aware of ourselves, our emotions, our behaviors, how we want to show up in the world, as opposed to how we do actually show up in the world,
Yes.
right? And so it's kind of, you just keep trying to chip away and move towards something.
Yeah.
And they're just those moments where you go, okay.
I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
I agree that we all think we are. But do you think it's an illusion of self-awareness?
Huh.
Like, I guess.
Okay, well, say more on that.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
do you
So I
mean?
guess what I'm saying is I think we are all semi-self-aware and we know how to read a room. We know how to do this stuff. But we are who we are. And at best, it's a con. And at worst, it's like we're not even impressing upon people what we think we are. Like, I think a lot of us have the illusion of it, but really, we all know who each other
I'm going to
is.
show off for a second.
Yeah, do it.
My therapist told me last week, she made a comment about, she's like, can you see how much you've changed and how much you've evolved and healed in these certain areas?
Yeah.
And so that was,
Yeah, that's
that's a win.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
a big
yeah,
win,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
If the self-awareness weren't real, you wouldn't have these
You wouldn't be
evolutions
course correcting.
in behavior. So I think, like, are you going to become somebody totally different to who you were in your natural state? Probably not.
Yeah.
But I think we can mature and heal and
Yeah, I do
evolve.
too.
And
I don't
It's
think
a
this is binary.
spectrum,
I don't think it's like
too.
one or, yeah, right.
Yeah,
I don't think
it's
it's
a
binary. I don't think it's like self-awareness is a total illusion. And you can actually know how you're coming across, and you can.
yeah.
I think there's a big gray area in spectrum there.
I mean, it's interesting. I don't know why this is what comes up, but I remember when I was learning how to do public speaking for the my Forbes talk and then the TED talk, I worked with someone who's a delivery coach.
Yeah.
Because the way you think you're delivering something in your head
Yeah.
may not be how the audience is receiving it.
Ooh, that's a great question for your podcast.
Yeah.
Because I had the very, very stark example of listening to me argue with Kristen.
Okay. Yes.
And
in
I
your
was
early.
like, oh, that's not how I think I argue. In my head, the experience is way different than now I'm objectively listening to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you had some aha moments if you had to listen now to yourself for hours?
Okay. On so many levels.
Yeah.
There is one, which is the fact that I have, I'm so lucky, I have super deep trauma of having to hear my own voice
Oh, yeah.
because of Linda Tripp taping me for 20 hours. And then I had to, whatchamacallit, authenticate the tapes.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, so I had to sit in the office of the independent counsel's office listening to it was awful.
Oh my God, hold on one second. One second.
That's torture.
No, it was. It's like, that's what they should have in Guantanamo.
Yeah.
Just,
Even take it out of the insane context it was
Right.
in. If you just said, hey, by the way, we have 20 hours of you and your friend Aaron talking. Now sit here and listen to it. The things I would say with Aaron and I at a table, there's no way I wouldn't be. I couldn't make it through 20 minutes of chatting.
oh no, it's awful. It was so awful. It was
yeah.
because there's again, back to this sort of, if you were asked to recall a conversation, you would probably not remember all the likes, the ums.
Oh,
you
yeah.
would try to remember the, smart erudite things you said. And
Exactly.
Great, incredible
and
point
just-
you made. Hour
Right,
10.
exactly. Not the sort of, and then the snarky things that you say about people you love. And I never liked the sound of my voice to begin with. So that was really all of that. And then, of course, they became public.
You had come to terms at least with That's how my voice sounds, right? You'd already crossed that. Oh, no. Okay.
It was just, it was just pushed down on the list of awful things.
Yeah.
There's that where it's just like, my voice.
Yeah.
And then also now it's sort of this thing about, I think also repeating myself. Like even I listened to our first chat, half of it on the way here, because I was like, what if I tell all the same stories again? What if I'm actually not as interesting as I think I am? But I think too, in terms of listening, it took me a handful of interviews to feel like, oh, okay, maybe I cracked this. And I was so proud of myself. And then I listened and I was like, oh, I wasn't actually, maybe it was good because I didn't say very much this time. So
Monica, have you broken any bad habits?
Yeah.
'Cause, you know, Monica edits, so she has to hear every single thing she says. I at least get a version. By the time I hear it, it's been dramatically cleaned up. So even at that, I've got a lot of work to do.
It's the editing process is very interesting, especially like I'm kind of pivoting I guess a little bit, but especially if it's a fact check and Dax and I are in like something heated. Having to edit that is always tricky because first of all, I'm like, I have to hear that again. Normally, if you're in like an argument with someone, you leave, you both like, again, retain the thing.
Step away from it.
Yes, you step away from it so you have distance so then it like, fades. Also, you leave thinking you were right or the points you made were right.
I think of the ethics all the time that you have to have when you're editing arguments between us. Like it would be you have so much integrity because to keep in a great point that your adversary quotes made it's got to be
Thank
hard.
you. I do
and not adding
that.
lots of ums
Yeah,
to yours,
right?
This bag of all the
Yeah, and actually, it's made me better just as an objective, like being able to be objective about the show because there are times where I am like, Monica, want to keep this in. Because I think like I come off better or it's the point I've been trying to make.
Yes.
And he is doing the thing I'm saying he's doing, but I know it's not additive to the show. It's not good. It's going to make people mad. And I have to cut it. But there's so many times that I like leaving. I'm like, I'm keeping that in. I know I'm
not
going to
killing this, darling.
This one's going to be there. I'm going to leave it. And then I like in the edit, and I'm like, I can't. I got to get rid of it.
She has a ton of integrity. I just want to scream from the rooftop.
Really
she
nice.
has incredible integrity. And often I imagine myself in the same situation as her. And I think I have integrity. I think, but it would be really hard. Forget whether or not I could pull it off. It would just be like, fuck, okay, I'm gonna.
Also, I think in some ways it's bad for us because this happened recently. We had a couple people on the show that I have very different opinions with.
Wait, can you say who?
Yeah, Andrew Schultz, who came out today. It was a great episode. Like I was very happy with it, but
comedian, right?
The comedian. And then someone we haven't had on yet, so I'm not gonna say who.
Adolf Hitler.
we have slightly different views.
Slightly.
Yeah.
Vladimir Putin.
We do these episodes and then we leave, but then I, that week, was editing both of those episodes. So then when we came into the fact check, I came in so hot.
Loaded for bear one point.
Yes, because I was in this other zone. And then he just wants to talk about regular stuff. I'm like, no, men are a problem. And he's like, why are you saying this? And it's because I've just been in this mindset. It's really hard to compartmentalize
and
all
it's
the
in
pieces.
your ear. It's sort of you're listening and it's in your head. Do you have like a background in storytelling that led you to the editing part?
Emma, our one of our producers, she gave me a really good compliment the other day. She was because I love writing and I
Monica's
write a lot.
Great writer.
This Monica is too. I'm just
yeah.
No.
Both Monica's in the room.
I know.
And Emma said, because I was like, oh yeah, I need it. I do want to eventually like.
Get
do
the
more
fuck
writing.
out of this.
No, do more writing. And she was like, well, you write every time you edit an episode. She gets a cleanup of it. So she sees it. She's like, you're doing that. You're creating a story.
Yeah.
I was like, that's nice.
Well, she's a great writer. She's written tons of stuff for Kristen over the years
Oh, I didn't know
prior
that.
to being here.
Okay.
Yeah. She was a UCB person. So she has the background to do it. But no one should ever feel bad for us. We have literally the nicest job
The
on
best
planet
job
Earth.
ever.
We go through stuff, right? Like and it's just random order. You can't predict it. Like it just happens to be two male comedians that have this stuff that happen because they both have specials coming out. And then for 2 or 3 weeks of our life, both through the interview, then the edit, then the fact check, it ends up like we can't not be in the cloud of that experience.
Yeah.
And it is just kind of funny. I guess it's great, actually. It keeps life novel, which is we're always in some weird cloud of whatever the guests were.
And we're being authentic. I mean, I guess that's the other thing. We're maybe trying to compartmentalize, but it's really hard to do. You're going to bring in where you're at mentally.
How deep do you get? Like, is it when you hear it, has it been pretty much a good pass has been done?
Yeah.
Yes.
So, I mean, I think for the most part, I think I'm hearing kind of version 2,
Okay.
but then sometimes I'll go back to the assembly for the interview because I'll think,
You'll miss it.
right. And then I have a great moment of being like, wow, you fucking didn't ask that question. Like, how could you not ask that question? As a follow-up of just assuming I had asked it and just passing judgment on people going, why would you cut that? Why would you fucking cut that from the conversation? And then turns out, I know.
not essential.
I'm so glad you're laughing at me.
It's such an insular, weird thing.
It is.
Has it been hard for you to ask the next deeper question? Like they've offered to pursue a road.
Right.
Like it happened 1 second ago.
Okay.
You say the Linda Tripp tapes.
Uh-huh.
I like you. I don't want you to have to get embroiled in any of it. Also, that's fascinating. I need to know more about sitting and listening to a conversation, right? So it's like those little nudges you have to give yourself.
Yeah.
Are those come easy or hard for you?
They're hard for me.
Yeah.
Because, well, probably a little bit because I'm codependent. And so I want, it's really important for me that somebody comes to have a chat. They
Feels
feel
protected.
safe. Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. Feels really safe. And I don't want to trigger anybody. I don't want someone to be upset. So I think it's probably that.
Yeah.
And then still because I just did my 12th interview. So I think that's still kind of new.
Yeah.
I'm definitely present. I'm definitely having conversations that are interesting to me and exciting to me, but I still feel like I could be more present.
Not as worried about that thing you're creating as much as just being,
or I think trusting myself too. Right.
Yeah.
So it's that way of, okay, just trusting yourself that you can sit down and have a conversation with someone. And especially, so I think especially with the show and the theme of reclaiming, like it's not hard hitting. And so my assumption has been I can sit down and have a conversation with anyone and it'll flow out. It's not
something will come.
Right. But that takes trusting
That's
yourself,
the curve
right?
of this experience, I think, is you just get more and more confident, like, oh, the thing will happen.
Okay.
It always happens.
As I keep staring at your 500 million streams.
Nice.
Yeah, turn that around. Come on.
Yeah, that was
for a newbie podcaster. But that's amazing.
But back to the thing of asking the follow-up question.
So,
I think as long as the next follow-up question is something that I'm really interested in, that you might think is too vulnerable, but I know and trust in my heart that the answer to this is not going to alienate you to people. It'll actually endear you to people.
Right.
Like I'll make those judgment calls, right? Where it's like, yeah, they went to 5. My interest is I want 7. What happened after that? And if I have a lot of faith in the fact that piece of information will just make you love the person even more, then I don't mind kind of,
well,
I guess,
do you want
pushing.
to ask me something so that people love me more, Dax?
No, it'll happen.
Everyone already loves it.
No.
Haven't you felt that over time? Just you, like over time, the more people have gotten to know you, I mean, I
You're pretty
only heard
universally.
amazing. Yeah, I've
Oh,
only heard
I don't
amazing
know.
things about you.
Oh,
Obviously,
that's
we
so
think
nice.
that too.
As much as people hate that couch is how much people all love you.
Yeah.
It's like kind of universal.
That is very nice to hear. It actually was a span of a year for me. So I turned 50 the year before in 2023. And then it was 10 years in 2024 from my first Vanity Fair piece. And I did a lot of personal, spiritual growth work
Yeah.
going into my new decade and into this last year. And the number of, I don't know, see, you're making me emotional, but the number of times in that period that I just would like pull the car over because I'd start to cry, or be in conversation with someone and just thinking about how things had changed in a way
Yeah.
for me that I just never could have imagined. And I'm so, so grateful.
Yeah,
So
you
grateful.
said turning 40 was absolutely miserable,
Yeah.
but turning 50 was fine.
It was great, actually. It was great. I had a lot of acceptance.
You were kind of in a coma for a decade,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then 40 to 50, you came out.
Kind of blossomed.
Yeah.
Yeah. And but in a way that was, I did sort of moving into 2014 and the essay. So I've done this, I can now call it like resonance work. People understand when I
What's
say
resonance work?
Well, sort of sound, it's like sound based, but vibration and resonance work. So I've worked with somebody.
Like EMDR.
No, I've done EMDR,
Oh, okay.
but I've worked with someone for probably over 15 years now on repairing my energetic bodies and field. And he uses sound to repattern your field.
Oh, wow.
Depends on how woo-woo you are there.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I've just called it kind of consciousness work or my energy work. And one of the first things we did was around changing my relationship to fame. And so my whole goal in that was bifurcated into two things. One being seen for my true self.
Yes.
And the other was this, it sounds so corny, but it's just like leading or coming from compassion and sort of setting my, that's what I want my resonance to be in this feeling of, when we have compassion for other people, that kind of boomerangs back to us.
Yeah, right.
And when people, and my story is such a collective story.
Yes.
And so when people would have compassion for what happened to me, that compassion would radiate.
Okay. So I think if we plotted your experience with fame, it might be the most extreme that we've ever had that I can think of.
Yeah,
Which is
probably.
Total
Yes.
pariah of a whole country and
Oh,
even
world.
globally,
Yeah.
Global.
to lessening degree globally. Two, I really think pretty universally loved. I think when people see or hear your name, they have a good feeling.
And guilt.
That-
I think everyone also has a collective feeling
Sure.
of
Oh,
guilt.
yeah.
Of like, oh,
Yep. There's a collective guilt. But I guess from your perspective on the inside of that, to have been on both ends of the dynamic extreme, how do you trust either end of it? Like, I could imagine you being loved and really having an impossible time accepting that. And then
Yes.
even thinking, okay, great, you love me, but fuck, I know where this ride goes. It's going to flip again.
Or it could. And there is that panic of that.
For you, I'm imagining reality itself is a little harder than it is for the average bear.
Yeah.
Because it's been so extreme
Yes.
in both sides.
100%. And also too, when you're writing and there's a seed that starts to germinate and you kind of go, I don't know when this is going to grow and I'm going to write this thing. But I've had this thing for quite a while now where I've just been thinking about, I've also seen different angles of power and felt how when power shifts, how that impacts on other people too, of just when Me Too happened and I just started to find myself invited into rooms that I wouldn't have been invited into the year before. I wasn't different, but the world was different.
Caught up to you.
And so, and what are all the pieces there that kind of lead to those shifts, and what does it mean, which is interesting to me. But I think the fame thing is very strange. And I had somebody say once, they said, fame is just more people knowing who you are than you know of the others. Or it's like strangers knowing who you are.
This asymmetric, yeah.
Right. And so there is, when you stop to think, there are trappings that can come with it, and usually it's the positive side, you have a lot of resources and help, and the negative is you lose your anonymity and privacy.
Did you have resentment when that power shift happened, when you were invited into the rooms? Were you like, yeah, I've been here the whole time and now you're letting me in?
I think maybe 20%. I think 80% I was just having experienced the depths of sadness and lack of purpose and inability to support hopelessness, all of those
things. What the fuck am I going to do for a living?
Yeah,
how am I going to ever date a guy? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I think that 80% was just the gratitude of that, and 20%. But to that point, it's why I really dislike the word reinvention. You reinvented yourself. And, and I just I think, no, there was nothing wrong with me. I evolved, I matured, the world changed, those different things. But that reinvention seems to imply what was there before needed to be changed.
Yeah.
Okay, so the 10 years, really, I would argue longer, 16 years, from 98 to 2014.
Right.
You get your master's in social psychology, you do a lot of things, you attempt a lot of things, but you're kind of frozen as well. Do you think you're younger than you are?
In some ways, yes.
Yeah. Not that you're immature, but I was just like, you're not your age.
No, I think definitely it's a very strange thing, because I think I had to mature and grow up faster in some areas. Yeah, way too fast. And in others, very stunted. And also it's interesting because I dated somebody who has had an addiction that was in its sort of wildest throes for a decade. And he and I were talking about, he was like, well, the decade where I should have been meeting somebody and this, and having those kinds of experiences. Right. He's like, I was in the throes of my addiction, and I too had lost that decade, for different things of when you're learning to date and you're learning how to be in relationship. And so I had lost that also. I also remember reading this interview with Matt Damon that I think he was saying his brother had this theory that people often remain this sort of same maturity age when they become famous. Yeah.
Like it stops there.
Exactly. Sort of frozen in amber in one of those moments.
If everything you want is happening perfectly, why would you change?
Right.
Yeah. I mean,
it would be counterintuitive to say everything I'm doing is working perfectly. Let's change up this recipe.
Yeah.
I think it's much easier to go like, everything's in a shambles. I need to take a look inward and figure out how I'm fucking all this up, and this pattern I'm in always results in this.
Yeah.
So I think for the young movie star where it's like all of a sudden it's super rich, everyone likes you, career fulfillment, and they're going to go back to the drawing board. That's a big person that does that.
Yeah. No, that's true.
Can I ask, is long distance more appealing to you?
No, but I think that I'm an anxious attacher. And so
what's that mean? Tell me the symptoms of anxious attachment.
Let me open Instagram and find a meme that tells you the things where I tick every fucking box. I will now never go on a date again after this airs. No, I'm just kidding.
No, you go on a date with the right person after.
Yeah, that's right.
I think that it is, what are the characteristics of being an anxious attacher is like you need reassurance. You always think people are mad at you.
Yeah.
And I would say, there's this thing of what's hard with relationship stuff, I think, is that you can't see your progress. And it's like it has to be in vivo. You have to meet someone and you like them and they like you, and you start the process to go, okay, has this gotten better? And so that I think can be complicated too, because you may not know where you are.
Also hard to evaluate because the nature of a relationship is like it's incredibly powerful and dynamic at the beginning, and then you're trading different hormones for here and now hormones, and
exactly,
and you're trying to evaluate that versus is this getting boring or is it getting more stable?
Right.
Yeah.
Stay tuned for more Armchair Expert, if you dare.
I don't know that I have been the love of someone's life yet, romantically. And so I think that feels sad to me.
Yeah.
I sort of,
I can relate to
Now,
that.
what would happen if on your deathbed a genie came down and went, Monica, these two people you were, and you missed it.
Yeah.
Is that possible? I can't imagine you not being the love of someone's life.
Well, I like romantically.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I think,
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I know my parents and,
Yeah.
you know,
No, I
that.
mean,
But
yeah.
I think that, well, let me say this. I think that I have historically liked complicated men, and, you know, usually an anxious attacher likes an avoidant.
Okay, yeah, right, that
And
makes sense.
so, like, it wouldn't totally surprise me
Yeah.
if that happened, because I would probably go, see, I knew it. I knew they really loved me. I knew I really mattered. I knew
Yeah.
this, that, the other. But there's that element of, I guess where my head went was when situationship became a word. I was like, oh, that's I've had a lot of situationships.
What are those? I heard you said that in an interview I just
really?
read, and then I didn't know what situationship
Really?
meant.
It's like a half relationship.
Right. It's sort of it's a relationship. It's an involvement. Let's just say a relationship is two people agreeing to try to build something for the future together
as a unit. Yeah.
And I think a situationship is usually it could become a relationship,
Yeah.
but you're not necessarily saying it's a relationship yet. One of you is probably hoping it becomes a relationship, and the other one's like, I'm not so sure,
Right.
but I'm not ready to, you know, I still want to keep a toe in. I'm not ready to run the other way, or whatever that is. I had someone tell me once that a woman should always have 3 men in their life. There's the guy who takes her to dinner, the guy she's fucking, and the guy she likes. And so, like, that's the way to kind of keep the
keep it in balance. I do want to say though, and because I so relate to you, and that sentence is heartbreaking. What you said, that you don't feel like you've been the love of anyone's life, and I really relate. But me being on the outside in this conversation, what I wish the reframe is who's the love of my life, as opposed to like who can I be for somebody else. It's who's.
But I think that
yours?
I think that I've loved a lot of people.
You think you have had a love of your life, potentially, or some.
No, because well, that's interesting, I guess. Now I'm going to have to reevaluate how I'm defining this all. I was just saying to someone the other day I feel like in my life, I would not be surprised if I met somebody and it all sort of fell into place, and the relationship, whatever version, now as a mature 51 and a half year old, like whatever version of that relationship that would be, the idealized relationship, if that happened, I wouldn't be surprised. And I wouldn't be surprised if it just kind of never happened.
Yeah.
Right.
I think either way, just I spent a lot of, you know, some of it I think is maybe karma. Some of it is a lot of the time and work and energy that I've spent on surviving. I might have otherwise used to figure out, you know, emotional
clawing your
intimacy.
way out of this enormous
you know,
hole you were put in.
Right.
That takes a lot of energy and focus and attention.
It does. But I'm, you know, I mean, I have where I feel really lucky, and I imagine you're the same, is just I have really fulfilling friendships and relationships in my life. And so there is it's the combination of emotional intimacy and sexual intimacy that's a little tricky for me.
And I think increasingly, like, society's evolving, right? Like the number of married people in Manhattan in the 80s versus now is like, you know, 1/3 of what it was. And I do think there'll be less shame surrounding whatever version of you meeting your needs is.
Right.
Right.
Well, I mean, it's interesting. I remember, I don't know what happened to it. I read about it before the pandemic. There was a matching site, not dating, that was matching people to have kids together.
Wow.
That it was like, and I just thought that is so genius. You know, it's really interesting. And as you were saying, Dax, about the spectrum, we are becoming this society of spectrum in so many ways. And it's going to be really interesting as we move forward too of how are we going to historically look at scientific data of like that was so binary, you know, like you're a man
Single
or a
or
woman,
married.
single or married, you know, this or that, gay or straight. And so I think that it's, you know, we're moving into a world that's more nuanced.
Definitely.
You know, while the chasm between groups is even bigger and worse.
Do you watch Severance?
I do. I'm not caught up on it.
Dang.
Okay, sorry.
There's
I know.
a scene in the last episode.
It aired.
No, sorry. The last episode that aired, which was Friday,
got
which
you,
is
got
the
you.
second to last episode of the season. But there's an exchange that happens between two people that is, in my opinion, it's so heartbreaking, but it sort of like it speaks to, I think, what we were just talking about. And I don't think it's a spoiler.
That's never a great sentence.
I know. Well, I'll just say without giving too much away, there's two people who were in love in
Their innies are in love.
Their innies are in love, okay? And then their outies
One's married.
have found each other, but one's married.
Yeah.
And then he, you know, they're talking and the one who's not married says, I've never been in love, not really. And the other one says, now you have. How does it feel? And it was so heartbreaking to me.
Yeah.
Because I was like, yeah, this like, I've never really had that thing that like he has with his husband or whatever. I don't know. It's just, I found it so like debilitatingly.
Where do you think your issues come from?
Oh God, so many.
They're well documented.
So
on here.
many. Yeah, mine, I think, God, it's just so boring for the audience at this point. But growing up in Georgia, brown kid, no, boys didn't like me. And I felt like.
Well, more importantly, one boy liked her. She liked the boy. And the boy said, I can't really be with her because she's Indian.
Oh.
Yeah. And I was, and like, you know, that's one person.
Her parents work at Dairy Queen, but that was code for Indian.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they don't work at Dairy Queen.
And yeah, he said, I would, but.
Yeah.
And so it was like, oh, early days, like, oh, I'm unlovable. Like, obviously. And it has nothing to do with anything I can control here. So then that really got.
Skin bleaching? Did you not?
Well, I looked into all of that for sure. I mean, you should have seen me on the beach just like covered in towels. And yeah, so I think that got set early on, and then was confirmed a few more, confirmed in quotes, a few more times where it was like, yeah, okay, so that's that, right? Like I'm not gonna have that. And then yes, then I would fantasize and be attracted to people I couldn't have because of the rejection. They couldn't really reject me because they were always like not in my realm of having, you know?
And I'll add a particularly cruel twist is this pattern also is anyone that likes her.
Yeah,
something's wrong with
they're
them.
problematic now.
So when people do like her, something's wrong
with them, obviously.
Yeah, because she's already accepted no one likes her. That's immovable. So if no one likes her and someone likes her, what the fuck is wrong with this dude?
There must be a catch. There must be something. It's like there's always like there must be.
Isn't it maddening? Especially when you love somebody and you're like,
I'm like, where's my magic wand?
I know. That's how I feel about, I can see it in other people.
it's so common. I just want to add.
Yeah.
We have so many guests where Monica and the guests go off to the races and they connect so much on this thing.
Well, it's interesting because I think for me, I think I feel so much shame around it because I'm super open in my friendships with people at a private conversation where it's not, out there. I'm very, very open, but I think I feel so much shame from it. I talked about this. The first episode of my podcast was me being interviewed.
You.
Yeah. And so I talked about when Joyce Brothers went on the Today Show and said, can you imagine someone bringing Monica Lewinsky home and telling their parents that they were going to marry me, basically? And so I think there's this this fear of, see, you were all right,
Yeah.
And so there's,
Of course.
So,
there's so much deep stuff.
I know. It's like, top that off with whatever childhood shit I had too.
Yeah, exactly.
This is kind of a great segue to one of my questions. So yes, I mean, basically what we're really talking about is very few incidents can result in this kind of like permanent life trajectory. And so when we talk about reclaiming, the premise of reclaiming, right, is something you've lost or was taken that you get back. Well, first let's talk about that, because I have a broader question of, should we reclaim? Is it always the right move to reclaim? Or is there time to jettison the thing we thought we needed and accept what is, and then build something new? That's just kind of a 30,000.
Right. But so to me, the building something new is a reclaiming.
Is part of the
because
reclaiming.
it's what it usually is there would be maybe a hole or something that we could label, right? So that this person, this job, this opportunity, whatever it was that you felt was lost, you either try getting that very same thing back, or you're finding something else that sort of then fits that slot in a way. And I also think of reclaiming too, there are these kind of capital R and lowercase r reclaimings of like, big things being, my last decade, reclaiming my narrative. That's a capital R. But the example I'll give is I have road rage. And so
we would be fun in a car together.
I'm like, so I will, yell fuckface. But before I then also flick the person off, if I stop myself from doing that, I've reclaimed my calm.
I like that.
So I think it's kind of an ethos. It's like mindfulness. And so in that it just kind of blankets all of our lives in different ways. And so the example when I was really sort of forming the show and pitching it, the best example I could think of that shows this elasticity with the concept is Taylor Swift and Taylor's versions. So this idea, right? So she has this catalog, it gets taken away from her and she can't get it back. So she comes up with a whole new way of reclaiming her music.
Right.
And I think the conversations that I'm having, it was great. I sat down with John Chu the other week. It was kind of a broader thing, which is around his identity. And so, and his identity and his work. So it's really loose, elastic, like, I think I now having had this conversation, I'd want to talk to you about identity. I'd want to talk to you about, I'm really interested in the rehab narrative of people who are publicly successful, go to rehab, and how they come back out without those crutches and find the courage to continue to do, Jason Isbell won his Grammy after Aaron Sorkin won his Oscar after.
Well, we love stories.
Yeah.
You're doing a show with Amanda Knox?
Yep.
Where are you guys at in that?
We are going to finish shooting in 2 weeks.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
is it here in LA or is it over?
No, overseas.
Is it in Italy?
We did shoot some in Italy.
Is that hard for her to go back there?
She did not go back for that portion, but she has been back. She has. She is a brave soul.
Wow.
I will definitely have her on the podcast when the show is coming out.
Yeah.
So,
how did you come to meet her?
do you know John Ronson? Have you ever had him on the show?
No.
So he's just a brilliant guy and had written a book, So You've Been Publicly Shamed.
Oh.
He sort of brought the Justine Sacco story of this was the woman who got on the plane to
and when
Africa.
she landed, she was fired.
And she had
Jonathan Haidt just brought her up.
She just came up on an episode.
Yes. While John didn't write the story, I mean, the Times had covered it. He sort of went into her story in context. And, but so John and I knew each other, and then John knew Amanda and had connected us. But then we actually met. We were both speaking at the same event, and it was her first speaking event. So,
okay. How many do you do a year?
I haven't done that many last year.
Okay.
I mean, so I was doing a lot.
Yeah.
And then kind of post-pandemic, I had it was like coming out of the pandemic, I had a whole bunch that had been scheduled. And it's just not picked up in the same way. I think I was tired.
You were tired.
Yeah. I love doing it. And I really like talking to young people too. So, I mean, that feels really meaningful to me. And also, I think for me too, there's there's no playbook on how to transition from having this big public story that is traumatic and moving on in your life in a way where you're able to support yourself, that you're not having to relive your trauma every day, all the
or
time.
lean on it somehow.
Right. And so, when I'm public speaking, it's going backwards to move forwards and to sort of help people and feel less alone in all those ways. But it is still, and that's what I love about the podcast, is that I just kind of get to sit and, talk to people and kind of hear their stories.
Right. You can make an argument in either way. So like, you take the power away from something by openly talking about it all. Like, this is the antidote to shame, right? So that is true. That's been my experience with sharing stuff. But then there's another thing to monitor, which is like, well, how damaging is it to constantly revisit it? Like, what is the damage of just not being able to put that away forever?
Right.
And that's got to be really hard.
I think the ideal place for it is to just be able to choose. And so I think I want to do this versus I have to do this because I've got to pay my mortgage, or I've got to, put food on the table, or, pay for therapy. So I think those are the differences.
But even within that, there's categories, which is interesting because like no one would say to an alcoholic, I mean, almost your obligation if you're a member of AA is like you get sober and then you share your story, and you share your story for the rest of your life. And you get a daily reprieve from sharing your story, and you encourage other people and inspire other people. And there's no one's going like, enough of your story. They're not going like, get over it. So it's like in that domain, we're like, yeah, that's a wonderful, powerful thing. But then in other domains, people are going like, well, good enough,
Oh, yeah. I think the problem is that the way trauma sort of worms its way into our memories, into our physical tissue, and all of those things, it's that you can't totally excavate it out, right? EMDR can help an enormous amount. But my therapist, who's a trauma psychiatrist, she'll say, the echo gets quieter, but it's always there. Yeah. And so I think there is that element too of trying to, how am I protecting myself and my own mental health? But it's, it's a difficult thing of what's happened to people in global scandals, especially when you're young, because you get very defined by it. People tell you to move on. And yet when I came out of graduate school, I couldn't get a fucking job. Right. So it's
like they're telling you to move on, but no one else has moved on.
Exactly.
Okay. This is I always bring it back to this because I just found it to be very powerful, but we had this sex therapist on, and I was asking if because of sexual abuse, you have certain, we'll call them kinks, but positively we'll call them kinks, or you have preferences. How can you blame someone when they've been given this situation if they have certain desires for the rest of their life? Is that good or bad, right? And she said, oh, this is very, very simple. If you have, let's say she used subdoms, like there are a lot of people that have been abused that they like to be in these subdom relationships. And she just said, if you have shame and secrecy around it, it's bad and destructive. If you have no shame and secrecy, then yes, explore what you were given. Here's your isms now. So I was wondering in that way,
like, where are you going?
No,
Dax?
I'm not going sexual at all. But what I'm going towards is like, you were in a very extreme situation and you're going to have things that developed out of that. And at what point are you able to just make peace and accept like, oh yeah, there are certain things in me that I don't need to fix. This was the hand I was dealt. I'm now this way. I don't have to fix it all. And do you have like acceptance of like whatever things grew out of that?
Right. I think my experience is that, but maybe a tiny bit adjacent in that, I'm just not going to get to working on that. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So it's that acceptance. And that was a lot of what I had in my 49th year. So right before I turned 50 of just and it's so freeing to just be very happy with who I am and very comfortable with who I am. And, it's like you no longer, I mean, people don't buy CDs anymore, but you no longer go out and buy the CDs that the guy you like, likes because you want it. It's no longer that.
But you were saying, in the past, you'd have been like trying to figure out what music this guy liked.
Or, like, oh, yeah, oh, you surf, I surf.
Yeah.
Do you think has that always been you, or was that like post this trauma that you felt like you needed to be what the other person wanted you to be?
I think I was always like that. I think I was always like that. I think that, also growing up at a time where not all young women, but many young women got messages from their moms about, how you're supposed to be in a relationship. What does it mean to, get a man or
keep a husband.
Keep a husband.
Yeah.
Or I remember hearing in class once that they were like, well, they used to call women going to college was getting an MRS degree.
Oh, yeah, I've heard that. Yeah.
Underneath it all is the message. Who you are and how you are right now is not enough and not okay.
Eventually you'll attach yourself to something with substance. That'll be a man and a husband, and then you'll have an identity.
Right. And then you'll be a mother. And then you'll, and so I think that there's, for Gen X, it's like kind of, are you Gen X?
No,
Monica?
millennial.
Yeah. I was like your baby.
Yeah. 37.
You're Gen X. Right. Because you're, Sorry, Dax. It's interesting. I found this really useful, although it felt so banal to me at first, but one of the mantras my therapist had given me was like this thing of, this is what I do. Sometimes when I'm feeling anxious, I, send an extra text to start with, not making it worse on myself. Right. And so starting with that the self-compassion is just, it can be, and recognizing, and I think just sort of going back to, I think something we were talking about much earlier, but in terms of the self-awareness and the evolving that happens, we're also all these different versions of ourselves, right? The different ages and the different parts. And so that's also recognizing, again, kudos to my therapist, if like the thing of, she's like, well, the you who sends the email may not be the you who's waiting for the response.
Totally.
Yeah. God bless therapists.
Oh my gosh. Seriously.
Okay. You've had some great guests already. We could talk about many of them, but I am interested specifically in a few.
Okay.
Molly Ringwald, of course, and I have to imagine you were the same as me because we're the same age. I mean, the sun rised and set on Molly Ringwald.
Oh, yeah. No. I mean, first of all, Molly's an extraordinary woman. Yeah. She is brilliant. She's an incredible writer. Yeah. And she has such presence. And she has a really unique presence too. So I was excited to talk to her about, because I grew up, we grew up with her.
Yes.
I think, it was really fascinating to hear that John Hughes wrote 16 Candles for her, having never met her and having just been given her headshot, which I was like, okay, that's very complimentary and also a little creepy because she was a teen, not trying to disparage like the filmmaker of our generation. As a woman, I just I think it was an objectification that then had things projected onto it.
He created a movie version of Molly Ringwald that became an identity that probably wasn't Molly Ringwald's identity. There's probably a chasm of how he saw her and portrayed her in all these projects that wasn't her.
Right. That would have been a good question for me to ask.
Well, that's maybe for him. Like he projected his idea.
He passed away.
Yeah, we'd have to have Ghost podcast.
Yeah, we'd have to find a medium.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh my God, that's a funny, stupid show where we have a full medium and we interview dead people.
That would be great.
Yeah, kind of like an improv show.
I wanted to do something like somehow a TV show was to figure out around when journalists have passed away, if you can sort of get access to their notes. And does that mean anything that was, off the record in their sources? Like, is that, if both people had died? Like, wouldn't that be interesting? I wonder how many stories might be totally recontextualized to sort of
if we had the full
know who the sources were.
Yeah, we just interviewed Michael Lewis.
He's brilliant.
Yeah, and he was telling us that while writing The Big Short, two of the characters in it. What he was not allowed to share was that his dad was the president of Lehman Brothers or something. It was like some off the record thing. And he was like, he's like, it absolutely killed me because it was so relevant to what was happening. He was betting against his father.
Oh my gosh.
But that kind of stuff would probably come out.
Yeah, I just think it would be interesting.
Yeah.
So what was Molly's, like, what was her version of that experience?
Well, I think that she only knew fame, from this very young age and kind of this catapulting into a high level of fame on the cover of Time. And she's an icon. Yeah. She is an icon. She dated him. I don't think they
didn't
married.
Okay. They didn't wed.
I think so.
I stand
We'll fact check it later.
Yeah.
I just remember thinking, this is ideal.
I feel like I should know that.
Stay tuned for more Armchair Expert, if you dare.
I made one of the worst comments to her. I've only met her once. I was seated next to her. This is in my list of 20 dumb things I've said to people. But I was sitting next to her and I was so excited. I was with Kristen, so I was like, oh, this is safe because I'm with Kristen. I was like, is it a bizarre experience that every time you sit down with anyone of my age, they were in love with you?
Right.
That's an interesting reality I'm curious about.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
and it's just an awkward question. What is she supposed to say? Like, everyone, like there was no answer she could give. I didn't think that part of it through, but I am still fascinated by, like, that's a very interesting way to go through life. How did she reclaim
her Paris years? She moved to Paris to really sort of find out who she was
as a non-famous person.
Exactly. Yeah. And so that, which is incredibly brave.
Beanie we've had on, and we love Beanie.
Just the best.
Listened to Beanie's edit yesterday, and I love. Well, it's funny because we started talking about the tapes, and Beanie and I had talked about the process.
Yeah.
And that came up, and I was listening to the edit, and I was like, oh, I didn't explain. If somebody doesn't know my story, they're not going to know. This is where I'm learning of, like, okay, so.
Oh, that's you just reminded me of one of my questions.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
You must be experiencing this in a very exaggerated and compounded way. The impermanence of everything is so fascinating.
Yes and no.
Because you meet tons of people that literally, Clinton is a dude from their history book.
Exactly.
And that's all.
Okay, so I have this weird cultural relevance because I'm a lyric in fucking rap songs.
Yeah.
So, which rap song? I've heard you say that.
Oh my God. Oh, which one?
Oh,
over
many?
125.
What?
Yes.
Oh my
Eminem.
God.
I mean, Beyonce's not a rapper, but I'm in Partition in a not very nice way.
You're the most rapped about person in America.
I know.
Beyonce should come on your show.
Beyonce should come on my show. I would love to talk to her. She's extraordinary. And so there's that. But then I had a weird thing. I was at, the artist Shepard Ferry.
Yeah.
So it was his gallery. It was something there. Can you remember what it was? And some 8-year-old kid came up to me and, like, knew my history, which was, the whole thing was weird to me because I'm like, you're 8.
Yeah.
You're 8. You shouldn't know anything about me.
Yeah.
I mean, I joke a lot about that. People used to sort of say, no offense, do you know who you look like? And now they'll sort of, it's the TED Talk or, anti-bullying work or,
Leno's got a great story about this. He's doing a live stand-up show in Vegas, and he's just fucking around before his set, and he sees guys with a dolly, and they have a huge statue clearly under a tarp. And he's like, well, what is that? And they're like, oh, it's the Elvis statue. He's like, oh, are you going to go fix it? And then they're like, no, we're taking it down. Nobody who comes to Vegas knows who Elvis is.
Isn't that wild?
That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about going, oh, wow. None of it matters. It all moves fast. It's in, it's out. It's so temporary and it's so impermanent. And it's so that's kind of what I'm talking about. Like, how could everyone know something at one point and then no one knows? That's the part that I feel as I'm getting older. It's like, oh yeah, I'm just now transitioning to that thing where I'm not really relevant in these young people's life.
But you have a voice in a different way. So they may not know you from those earlier things. But I think also, again, this is a fact check, but isn't Nelson Mandela's story too, of just sort of early years of having been known one way, but then becomes known more from the latter years of his political career than some of the earlier ones. I feel really lucky because I feel as if in this last round, of sort of being, I was always a public person, but not hiding in many ways.
Driving your
exactly.
exposures.
I feel like I've been able to, I can sit outside at a restaurant now. I'm not, I might worry a little if I'm going to a restaurant where paparazzi hang out. I might, but even then it's like, okay, my hair's lighter. I don't get recognized in this, which is really nice.
Yes. Midway through life, I'm really struck with like, oh, wow. Yeah. And everything that happened to my grandparents meant so much and it's just gone.
Yeah.
And it's like sad and it's good. Yeah. It's like good for all them. Mm-hmm. But it's like, we're just here for a minute and that's it. And
in this dimension.
Elvis in this
dimension.
And the Elvis statue will come down at some point.
Okay, wait, what's this spray stuff? I'm just curious. Oh, interesting. Okay, so is this
it's a pure delivery system for nicotine.
Okay.
No bullshit,
it's not a
just
vape.
nicotine.
Okay.
It's just
it's a liquid.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Cool.
The whole family's addicted to it.
Okay.
Yeah. Were you ever a smoker?
Like a social smoker.
Okay.
I usually have a cigarette on election night every 4 years.
Okay.
So.
Fun. That's a nice.
Yeah.
You should maybe try that, Monica.
Yeah. If I was going to do it, that would be the time.
All right. I just have one salacious question for you.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Let me.
Yeah. Get your salacious armor on.
Exactly.
The Menendez brothers. You went to school with them?
Yes, I did. I was
Were you in between?
The youngest one was older. Was I think a year or two older than me.
Okay.
And so my memory of him was sitting next to him in the I can't remember what the room is called, but waiting to audition for The Music Man.
Oh,
so,
both of you.
Wow.
Yeah. So, he we had the same call time. I don't know, not call time. I don't know. What do you call it? Audition time.
Audition
right,
slot,
exactly.
Yeah.
So the older brother was gone before you got to school.
I think so. I don't remember their age differences. And
so it happened while you were in school?
Oh, yeah. The whole thing happened. Yes. So there, and it was like, and then it became the thing where, you passed by. I think they were on Maple or Elm. I can point the street out to you. I just can't remember which one it was. And it was like, oh, that's the house. And
it's a pretty wild thing to happen in high school.
Yeah.
We had some wild shit, but.
Yeah, but it's a really, I think, again, it's interesting. It's one of those stories.
It's like yours where you go back and watch it and you go, oh, I see it completely different now.
Right. Exactly. And so it's, I think I think whatever society ends up deeming as the right thing to happen for them is fine by me. I hope if they do get resentenced in some way and let out, that it becomes a much bigger conversation for all of the people who are languishing in prison, who committed crimes as a result of having been abused.
Yeah.
Because I think that's the majority of people. So otherwise, it just bothers me that it's sort of the attractive white boys. There's so many different instances where it's so easy for us to kind of look at a story and think of everybody kind of whatever category of story is a monolith. And I love context. I mean, I have been known to send emails that are like, here's a short version, here's a long version. You choose which one you want because I will always go with the long version, but some people like the short version.
A lot of people do.
Well, I'm glad you're doing Reclaiming because you're built to talk. You were a great guest the first time and you were a great guest the second time. And if you can, any of us can figure out how to shoot the shit for a living, fucking what a win.
Also, we talked so much about your growth, but obviously even when were you on? When was it? Was it 2018? Was it was early?
I think it was 2019. I think it was, or 2018 or 19, but it was pre-pandemic.
It was pre-pandemic. But you already you feel so different to me.
I would agree with that.
You agree?
Oh, good. Yeah.
You were more newer into the reintroduction.
Yeah. A lot. I mean, it would have been, 4 years, 5 years, something. But I think also too that, one of the, let's see, we wouldn't have made impeachment yet. I think having been a producer on Ryan Murphy's impeachment and having a first look deal was really the first opportunity I had to kind of do something that had nothing to do with my story, even though my lens is shaped by, and you know, as my brother was always like, okay, you can't have these head scratchers. Like you have to take people on a narrative journey of the projects you're going to do. It's like, why are you doing that? You're not an expert in a certain. Okay, he's not that harsh, but you know,
that's what you hear from me. Whether that's what he's saying.
Yeah,
or not.
no. But he finally thinks I'm funny. So
It's a big win.
it is such a big win.
51 years later.
Yeah. So actually, I have John Oliver to thank for that. He's like, well, John Oliver said you were funny. So he's a big fan of this show. Hi, Mike. We're giving you a shout out. Now he's going to be embarrassed. So with impeachment and I think having had a first look deal and focusing on other people's stories and you know, but then with the contraction in Hollywood, it sort of became difficult. And as someone said to me, producing is an expensive habit. Like if you're not in a deal or independently wealthy. So I love producing. I love storytelling, but you know,
it's rough.
It is.
It's hard.
It's hard.
I would apply the racing adage. That's my favorite, which is, do you know how to make a small fortune in racing? Start with a large fortune.
Oh, yeah. Exactly.
Increasingly is like,
That's
you want to make a small
good,
fortune. Want to become a millionaire as a producer? Start it with $1 billion.
Yeah, exactly. Seriously.
Well, Monica, this has been a blast. Everyone should listen to Reclaiming with Monica Lewinsky. It's available absolutely everywhere. We're siblings under the Wondery world. So delighted to be with you.
Thank you guys so much.
We love having you.
Thank you.
Stay tuned for the fact check so you can hear all the facts that were wrong.
Hi.
Okay.
I've never met Aaron Weekly,
Oh, hi.
but I heard he's the ultimate boy. He is so darn human. I wish I were flawed like Mr. Weekly.
Oh my God. This is a huge day.
Yeah.
Aaron
He's
meets
so
the
big.
robot.
Yeah.
He has a very cute smile. I wish they made robots with teeth.
Oh, yeah. See, this is the thing about the robot. He's very sad.
He is a cute smile, but
he
he-
has a cute smile.
But it's no teeth.
No teeth.
He doesn't, because he doesn't need to eat.
Yeah, exactly.
I run on electricity. If I'm correct, you get your energy from food.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Aaron's here.
Aaron's here.
Welcome, Aaron.
Just fresh off the airplane.
You banged on the door. I was down for like 1 minute.
Oh, so you're recovering still a little bit.
No. I was like, if you give me 5 minutes, I'm gonna nap.
Yes.
So-
Any free 5 minutes.
I heard you came in here at a certain time. I'm like, oh, I got at least an hour to nap.
Yeah.
Then we yanked you right out.
Thank God. I don't need a nap. I'm here to party.
You got to adjust to the time zone, man.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's true.
This was a very haphazard trip. We're talking on the phone yesterday, and I just go, should you come out tomorrow morning and
Oh my
we'll
God.
record some more of our podcast?
Well, Dax, because we have to finish. I said, yeah, I was kind of just waiting to see,
Yeah.
what schedule is. And he goes, well, fuck, this week probably would have been good. And I'm like,
Mm.
It was a regret. Started as a regret. And then I
Yeah.
said, wait a minute, it's not too late. Okay, I have an exciting update for you.
But first, I want to ask Aaron an important question.
Oh, wonderful.
Okay. Would you rather eat someone's hair, skin, or spit?
skin.
Or fingernail.
Skin?
Yeah.
That's right.
Oh, God, not a fingernail. No.
Oh, yeah,
skin.
fingernail we added in later. Skin.
Oh, I'd eat skin all day over fucking hair and spit.
Okay, what
And nails.
can you order it? So skin
Okay.
easiest.
Skin. I'd be honored to eat some skin.
Don't you think the context is a little relevant? Because it's really like, what one do you want in your food? One of those items has to be in your food. I said spit because you wouldn't know
Okay, but if you would,
if you did know.
Yeah.
if you did know, I'd rather chew on someone's skin.
Ah.
Okay,
so-
well, let's be really specific because I was just telling Monica all about Aaron Stinchcomb in the murder and all that.
Yeah.
And there was a period, Monica, where he worked at Big Boys, the same one that Aaron and I worked at.
Oh, sure.
You've heard our Big Boy stories.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so now here's your choice. Shit comes making a malt.
No, say it normal.
Oh, sorry. When you're a murderer?
I know, but he had a bad life. You said the carpet
Yeah,
burning
there's a lot of burning carpet. So Stinchcomb's making you a malt.
Okay.
And you either see him spit in it really big or cut off the tip of his finger and put it in the malt.
And a malt?
Yeah.
I guess I'd have the...
Or take a hair out of his head and put it in there.
Fuck, his
I think
hair.
I'd have the spit and the malt. Yeah.
Really? And then skin?
And then skin on any solid food.
Okay, it's like a salad if it was in the mix.
I mean, preferably a hamburger or something, but yeah.
Right, okay.
So it just felt like
you don't
that.
get to
But
pick.
yeah, salad. No, that's fine. I would think it was, or I'd pretend it was ham or something.
That ended up in your milkshake.
Ham. It comes out sometimes.
Everything I eat is ham when
All
I
I
don't
eat
know what
is
it
ham.
Ew.
is. If I don't know what it is, I assume it's ham.
You should have saw him when he was younger. All he did was eat ham.
All right.
Okay. So we got well, it's fun because
So-
now we have three different things. I said spit, he said skin, you said hair.
Yeah, and I asked
Wobby or fingernails?
No, it's skin.
he was skin. I asked Callie,
Oh, good.
and she's the only other person who said hair like me.
Wow.
I think because girls deal with so much hair all the time and it's on your brush and you're taking it out and the whole you have a much closer
Yeah.
relationship with hair.
Should we ask Kristen?
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to.
She's not going to answer because she's
You
baking.
think she's
but
a hair
let's find out.
person?
I hope.
Who do you think's a fingernail person?
Well, I want to
Real
hang with that
sicko.
person. Maybe Walt Goggins would like
Yeah.
That one
Ew.
came out because I, in the last episode, was picking at my fingernails and then I was like moving it around and I dropped. And then I said, somebody is going to find this and many people, including you, I think is going to find this so disgusting.
Hi. Quick question, because we're polling everyone. You are either going to find in your food
At a restaurant. Yeah.
a long
No, don't say long. just say it normal.
hair, skin, spit, or fingernails.
Don't say fingernail.
Hair.
Yes!
Yeah.
Yes! Yes!
That's a big victory for Monica. But by the way, I don't know why it's such a big victory because I agreed that it's probably women feel fine with hair.
She said it so fast. She knew. Hair,
Yeah.
obviously.
But
That's
Mama,
such
what
not an
about
obvious answer to me.
Spit? You wouldn't know. You just wouldn't know. You'd be eating, and then someone spit in there, and you go, "Oh, I didn't know."
Right, but I would know because you just told me.
Yeah, exactly.
I would find it.
Correct.
So if you're gonna tell me after I ate I spit in that, it's gonna make me a little nauseous. And here's the bacteria levels in spit are super high. Skin could have some sort of a fungus. Fingernails are dirty.
blood.
People have stuff under them.
They scratch their asshole
Yeah, hair generally. You don't scratch your asshole with your hair.
unless
and
it's so
generally,
long.
Sometimes
You're
I do
washing
floss
it.
Unless
with
you're
my
Rapunzel.
so a reasonable amount.
Yeah. Okay, that
And it
was the
doesn't-
right.
There's not bacteria on hair.
That was the right answer for your gender.
I feel so vindicated.
What do you want in your food, Dax?
Aaron wants skin because he'll pretend it's ham, and then I want spit because I wouldn't know.
But you would know.
But I would
again,
know.
that's
Someone
it.
would say, "Hey, there's spit in here," or they go, "There's a hair in here," or there's skin.
Yeah.
I probably would continue to eat if there's spit. There, by the way, there's spit in all your food because people are talking in the kitchen and coughing.
Well, maybe not all your food.
Some of the food, yeah.
Kristen, don't you think you've eaten my hair?
Oh, I know I have.
Yeah.
Yeah. I said to know Monica is to have pulled her hair out of like your armpit randomly and thought, how the
It's just
fuck
on
is
you.
that?
It's just always on you.
For sure.
All right.
Okay, well, I
thanks
appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks for answering. I know you got a busy cooking project going.
No problem.
All right, love you.
I'll try to keep my spit, hair, fingernails, and skin out. I
No,
love
put it
you.
all in there.
Throw it in.
Make a
Only
salad
in yours,
tonight.
babe.
All right, I love you.
Bye.
Yeah, see, if it's Kristen's, I'll eat all of it.
Yeah.
with a fork and knife.
Yeah.
Sure. And ask for seconds.
I'm sure I have. Like, I'm sure I've eaten her hair. I've probably accidentally eaten a little bit of her fingernails.
Oh, do you?
That one feels the only one that feels dangerous because it could maybe cut your intestinal tract.
Do you guys not bite your nails?
I do.
I do.
So
and
you've
then
eaten it.
Then I chew on the nail. And you're right.
Exactly.
Sometimes
It goes
I'm
down.
like, where is the nail?
You ate it.
Do
You
you
ate it.
Do you
Obviously.
put it on a plate or something next to you? Or
Oh,
when you're biting them off?
no.
She
Wait,
kept
you
moving
said
I
you were
kinda-
moving them?
Oh,
Yeah, it was. She kept moving it all over the couch.
Oh, an ear.
it was
Yeah.
a
Right.
hair.
She like couldn't get comfortable where she was putting it to remember. Maybe
Yes, yes.
best case scenario, remembering where
Yeah.
to throw it away.
That is
but every time she'd commit to a place, she'd be talking, and then she realized like, oh, I'm gonna forget about it there.
Yeah.
And then it'd end up between her.
I put it in here in my computer, but then it was getting a little lost, and I didn't like that, so I put it back up.
your
And then I
pocket?
did drop. It is lost.
Yeah, it went between your legs on the couch at
Yeah.
some point.
I just
Sayonara.
am not that grossed. I mean, obviously it's my own.
Oh yeah, I don't care.
No one's grossed out by their own.
Oh my God. When I tear, like I tear my nails, or not
Yeah.
my toenails. and
Yeah,
stuff
me
off.
too.
And I wouldn't do this anywhere. Like I wouldn't do this at your house or in here.
Sure.
But at home, I tear it all apart, and it just goes where.
Everywhere.
And, I want it to be away from me, like out in the. So when Ruthie gets so grossed out because like if you vacuum next to my bed, it's like.
Oh my God, so
It's like picks
you're
up
like
a bunch of nails.
7-year-old boy.
Yeah.
Oh, I have a new one to add. Booger. Boogers last for me. Like I'd rather have everything above but booger.
You'd rather eat a fingernail over a booger?
Yes.
That's extreme.
I think I would too.
Anyway, let's clean it up. This is from Monica Lewinsky.
Okay. But do you want to hear the thing I saved for you?
Yes.
Hi, Monica and Dax. Love this episode so much. I know Monica doesn't read the comments, but I was the person with the clipboard who recognized Monica and said I was a big fan. Just to hopefully quell any anxiety in the future, I wanted to say that no one is judging you for not stopping. Baiting people with emotive causes, no matter how important, is manipulative and counterproductive. Our goal is never to make anyone feel bad. It's great when people stop, but it's totally fine when they don't. We never know what each person is going through. Also, I promise every person out there has received serious verbal abuse. LOL. So a sorry not today is perfect. Most of us who do this job are starving artists, and while we love the causes we represent, it's not our end goal either. Like you, we hope to not be harassing people on the street forever. You definitely didn't lose an armchair. The interaction made my day.
Oh,
Isn't that
Dax.
great?
I feel so bad now.
You feel worse because she was letting you know
Worse.
that it's okay,
But
and
she's
you didn't
so
lose.
nice.
And she liked meeting you. It was fine, despite the fact that you were running from her as fast as
She
you
doesn't
could.
deserve. I know.
Monica's going, thank you. Like, right? You were.
Yes. I didn't know how to handle it.
Yeah, you got overwhelmed. I
Listen,
understand.
that's such a nice person. The
Isn't
fact that
it?
she still listens is
Morning
shocking.
Morgantown is her handle. Morning Morgantown.
I like
Shout
that
out.
handle.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for trying to make me feel better.
I was like, yeah, that's right. You leave your town and you come to LA and you don't know what to do, and you just got to find
Exactly.
something. And I can imagine myself having the job when I
Of
first got here.
course.
Yeah. I can put myself in her shoes
Me
very
too.
easily.
Me too. I did
Yeah,
that.
like coming here and just like, God, how on earth do I make a
Mhm.
living? Okay, and some friend tells you, you could be with a
Exactly.
clipboard in front of Ralph's,
Yeah,
which is great because if you get hungry, it's directly behind you.
sure.
There's bathrooms,
Sushi.
sushi.
Yeah. Yeah,
Low-grade sushi.
she's a very nice person.
Yeah, I was happy to read that. And okay, what did she say you can say? Sorry,
Sorry,
not today. She said, sounds great.
Yeah, but I'm not good at it. I
Yeah,
always
you
fumble
flubbed it twice.
Yeah.
Can't you just
2 for 2 on flubbing.
put an earpiece in or something?
Oh.
Yeah, I know. I did think like,
That's a great
I need
idea.
headphones, but I
Earbud.
didn't. It was
Yeah.
too
Well,
late.
can't you just
It was
go,
too late.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
when
I've done it.
How long has she been in the ER? Wait,
Did they intubate?
Have they intubate? I mean, if you hear someone's
Yeah.
dealing with intubation on the phone, you're not going to think they're a dick.
No, you're not.
Aaron, I wish you would have come a couple days earlier because Lincoln had a spectacular birthday party on Sunday and it was volleyball themed.
I saw the new rope,
Yeah.
bright yellow rope, and I
Yeah,
was like,
fresh.
I was hoping there was a party coming up, but I missed it, huh?
Yeah, we did 4 games.
Shit.
It was so fun. Did it look intriguing this time?
No.
Nothing.
But I was in the middle of so many other conversations.
Oh,
that
you
had
were?
piqued my interest much more.
What were the topics of those conversations?
So many. The peptides.
Oh, right.
That's
Continuing
always a
peptide
combo
debate.
here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
Ooh, ask Aaron. Maybe Aaron feels like you do.
how do you feel about peptides, Aaron?
My my first thought is that I probably need a lot of peptides.
And we're not.
I want in
I
on the
knew he
peptides.
wasn't going to be. Why did you present it like that? You knew he would not be.
No, I think it could easily go the other way because that would be consistent with Aaron. Because your thing was like, why do we have to do all this shit? Like and now everyone
I
does
brought
it. So
it up
now I
subtly
have
to
do
Ruthie,
it.
hoping that there'll be peptides in my house at some point.
I really did. I could see it going the other way where he'd be like, yeah, fucking you look how you look. That's also very Aaron.
Apparently not.
Apparently not.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
I guess someone's making peptides
That
look
would
good.
have been my guess.
Yeah.
This is tricky because, like,
Monica doesn't. She's kind of
I had a whole
anti-peptides.
therapy session about it.
About peptides.
Yes, about the fact that so many people around me are taking these peptides, and there is something in my gut that tells me no to that. Not to other people, but for me.
Sure.
And so, but it's hard when more and more and more people are doing it.
And they like it.
And everyone's yucking it up and loves all the new peptides.
They like
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
There was a very funny moment when you brought up that conversation because there was an exchange back and forth where it was like all these numbers. Remember how funny that was?
It was so substance.
Are peptides okay? Even though I said that, I don't think about them 2 seconds. Except for a month ago when I left here, I told Ruthie, you know, they got peptides for or I said, you know, these guys are taking peptides for this and that. I don't even remember what it is now, but I'm like, might want to get in on that. But that's it. I don't know. Are they accessible? Where are these peptides?
Yeah. Well, you can go to a hormone doctor.
Yeah.
And most of them can prescribe you them. But this all started because a woman in Germany took a peptide that brings out all the melanin in your skin, and she has turned herself black. And she's moving to Africa because she says she identifies as black.
That's insane.
It's crazy. Yeah. It's offensive on a lot of levels.
Yeah.
That's what started the whole peptide conversation.
The brain peptides.
Oh,
That's what I was
yes.
interested in.
What's that?
I think it's called dihexy or something. And it's a peptide that, makes you think faster.
More sharp and
Yeah.
such.
And I take it on days with interviews and research.
Oh, God.
Like, I need that.
Yeah, clear up
How
some
do
of the
you?
fog.
No,
Yeah.
you don't.
Please.
You've done a million interviews without peptides that have been great.
Oh, yeah.
How do you know it's not actually making it worse?
Haven't you realized how
I'm going to have to rely on you to tell me. I've noticed for the last year that your interviews have been bad. And then I'll go, oh, that's about the time
I haven't noticed anything better.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. My memory's a little better. My word recall's a little sharper.
Mm.
And I take it on research interview days. And not
Does
on
it
other
work
days.
instantly?
I don't even know that. I mean, truthfully, I'm not even sure if it works.
Yeah, I don't know.
You don't feel any different. Nor do you're on testosterone.
Yeah.
It's not like you take a shot of testosterone and you're like, I feel.
Right.
You don't feel anything.
Yeah.
You just notice, oh, I've worked out more. I've more engaged. Like retrospectively, you kind of notice this.
I was a little bit afraid. I have the implant now, testosterone, in my ass cheek. So this is my second time. I just went in last week, and
Oh yeah, one time it looked like you got shot.
it looked like my left butt cheek was gonna fall right off of my body.
Yeah.
Why?
It like,
Bruised really
Oh.
bad.
yeah, I called up there and I was like, I have pictures.
Yeah.
I don't know what you put in me,
Oh.
See?
but of course that was so long ago now.
Now you-
I was gladly turned over and let him do it in my other butt cheek.
And this one went off without a hitch?
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful.
Nice. Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah. So, and they said my levels were so good that we don't have to check it for 6 months or so instead of 4.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's how long it lasts?
It's anywhere from 3 to 6.
Oh, weird.
I never know. I'm never convinced I have testosterone, even when I'm shooting it myself.
Yeah.
Like, am I really putting testosterone in my body? Because I'm not.
You're not
feeling
seeing any
anything.
Yeah, I'm
results.
still tired. And,
Right.
I don't have a sex drive.
Yeah. It's not, they're not magic cure-alls. They're just like, it gets your levels to where they were when you were 30. And when you were 30, you weren't like, my God, I'm jumping over cars. You just were how you were.
Yeah.
Stay tuned for more Armchair Expert, if you dare.
But not the melanin. That's not back to when you're 30. That's changing something fundamental about yourself.
This kicked off a very fun debate.
Yeah, I'm really against it.
Yeah, you're really against it. And my counter was like, if you have a range of what your skin color is, like mine in the summer is.
We all have a range.
Yeah. So you have a range of what's your skin color is. Me in the summer, I way prefer, right? I'm like 6 shades darker than I am in the wintertime. It's pretty dramatic. I tan pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
I way prefer to look that way. I can look that way if I sit in the sun all day. But if I could take a peptide that I would look that exact shade that I naturally look anyways without all the sun damage, it seems kind of crazy not to do that. If you're just picking between hours in the sun versus this peptide
But
for
you're
the same
not
result.
picking that. You don't have to pick that. You could pick just living a normal life where sometimes you look tan and sometimes you don't. Like
But if I have
everyone
a
has
choice,
to
I
deal
would
with.
look tan.
Everyone has to deal with, there are things I like about myself and there are things I don't. And there are things that I like in the summer and things that whatever. Like being able to have everything you want, I think is bad. Buddhism.
Sure.
I think if I could take a peptide for my skin right now.
Yeah, right?
I
Don't you
would.
want it
This is
in the
insane.
summertime?
It's like transparent.
It's
Aaron
who
tans
you
really
are,
gorgeously.
Aaron, it's who you are.
Well, no, it's just him in
It's
the
who I am
winter.
in April.
Exactly.
In April.
Correct. It's who you are in April. So you have to be who you are
Well,
in
thank you.
April.
Well, hold on. Do you have the same policy on whitening toothpaste? You have a range of what your teeth whiteness could be. You can use this
Right.
product that'll make them the whitest they're possible.
Yeah. I
And
think
I'm
that's fine.
Super supportive of that.
I think that's fine. I think whitening toothpaste is fine. I do think it's mostly accessible. Whitening toothpaste.
Right.
I think everyone can have whitening toothpaste.
But now we're jumping topics.
No, it's all connected for me though. It's
So-
like if you are able to make yourself in quotes perfect.
Well, but I think that'd be a good distinction. I'm arguing to be the best version of yourself you can be. You comb your hair, you cut your hair, you brush your teeth, you do all the things, you take care of your skin, you put moisturizer on. You're trying to be the very best version of yourself. And so my favorite version of myself is July, because I think I look best tan. And I can do that through sun damage, or I could do it through a peptide and get no sun damage. It seems preferable.
Okay.
Now, you're
I
right
don't
about
know
the
what
fact
to
that I'm going to
say.
get sun damage anyways, because I like to be outside and I'm going to be on a boat and riding motorcycles and hiking. So in my case, it's kind of.
I just think we need to, we have limits. Humans have limits on who they can be. And I think that's okay to have limits. And I actually think it's, well, what we did talk about and what came up in therapy, which is I had to I've had a many long years worth of figuring out how to accept myself
Yeah.
and physical things that I don't like, being different from
Yeah.
everybody else. I feel that for the most part, it's pretty tenuous, but still I've achieved that.
Uh-huh.
And I think it's an important part of being a person to accept yourself.
On the surface, that sounds correct. But I would argue we would draw a line in that statement somewhere.
We're all born looking a certain way.
Yeah.
And there are things we like and things we don't like. And I think you gotta just learn to accept that. And you know, we were at this birthday party with all these children who I think are perfect.
Oh, yeah, me too.
And the idea that they are going to go inject their bodies with things to change who they are is so sad to me.
Yeah.
And I can see it in the children, and we're the children. I mean, we are them. We should just accept who we are.
Yeah, I just think it's a huge spectrum and it's not black or white. It's like we don't accept that our teeth are yellow. We don't accept that we can't see right without glasses. There's tons of stuff. We don't accept that our hair shouldn't be styled and conditioned, and we don't accept that our skin makes enough moisture to look how we want and we put moisture on it. It's just like you're just moving out the ring. But we are. What's that?
We are. That's my whole point is when are you going to call
what's the stopping point?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so what I landed on in that conversation was, yeah, I felt awkward and had a big nose and was super skinny in high school. And I learned to bet on my personality. And I did that. I made that growth. And that is where my core self-esteem comes from. Also, this is my one trip on planet Earth. And I'm going to go as hard as I can on this trip. I'm going to try to have the exact body I always wanted. And I'm going to try to, I'm going to try to do everything on this one trip.
Aesthetically.
In every single way, every conceivable way, travel to the whole place. Like I'm going to devour the whole thing.
Sure, that's you.
Yeah.
And you can do that. For me, it's just like, well, when are we going to stop? When everyone looks exactly the same? Like what?
By the way, I get it. And I think what you're saying is totally valid.
Anyway, well, what else?
You're going to join us. I asked you this morning.
Yeah.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
I am. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to come and ride
Deliver
in the car with
food.
You guys deliver
Very
food.
exciting.
Deliver some
Kind of
foodies.
scared.
Well, you know what you should be scared about? It's pretty consistent. You smell a lot of food and you get pretty hungry, but you're working.
Yeah, there's no time
Not
to
time to-
Can't eat on the job.
Not time to pull over.
go into their bags of food.
Oh, can we order our own food?
That's what ends up happening
Okay.
is we get home so hungry and ready to order.
Oh,
and then
wow.
I spend way more than I've
40
made.
times what was made.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Did you explain to it already on the podcast? What we're doing?
We did, but you can do it
Little
again.
bit?
You did?
Yeah.
Oh, I just wondered. 'cause
Yeah.
I hadn't, no one mentioned it to me, so I didn't hear it.
Yeah, I have a delivery account and we turn it on and then we
Yeah.
just start delivering food and we shoot the shit and then we ask some reader questions, some moral dumbfounding questions, and
It's delightful.
it's delightful.
Yeah.
And you're on a car ride. You know what is interesting? I think I might have already told you this. I'm realizing now I don't know how it'll translate. There's such a specific way people communicate in a car, and I'm really seeing it now that I'm editing it.
Yeah. And just,
When you talk in a car, you really talk because they're up front.
Oh, interesting.
There's kind of a cool openness because you're not looking eye to eye with anyone. There's some weird outcome of not staring at each other while you're talking, which is
Oh.
it's just different and interesting.
Cool.
It's so car talk. Like, as soon as you're hearing it, you're like, yeah, that's a road trip with friends, or that's
Yeah.
driving to go get food with friends. That's what it sounds. It just
Yeah,
has a
let it
very
rip.
specific sound.
That's fun.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
I like that.
Very excited. I just remembered part of why I don't.
Like peptides?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or what part of what's bothering me
Yeah.
is obviously it's about me.
Sure. All
With-
things that
yes.
bother us are about us.
I feel like I'm scared that nothing is real. Like that there's nothing basic that we can all touch down on anymore
Substantive.
as reality. Just like, I mean, in the news, in personal life, in everything, it's like, is there anything we could all agree on?
Yeah.
And it's starting to feel less and less and less so. And that scares me.
It makes sense.
It's weird.
If
I mean, I don't know.
were you, I might feel like, fuck you, white people. You already hit the lottery and now you want more.
Oh, that is for 100% part of it too. Like
Yeah.
when I'm thinking specifically about some of the people, I'm like,
Now you want my
you're
skin
gonna
tone?
literally. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, you have been happy to be superior to this your whole life, but you're gonna pick and choose the things you like about these differences and take them on. But you're not really different. So you don't have to deal with the negative side of it, but you get the positive.
Well, that's
side of it.
specifically with making yourself black.
Skin color, yes,
Yeah,
that's a
yeah.
big thing. Like, oh, I like the way it looks, but I don't want to be like marginalized. I would have liked to have been lighter, and I couldn't do that, right? So there's a part of me that's like, so you guys can't do that. It's not fair. It's just not fair.
For me, the ethical line in the sand is if you're going past what you just naturally look like, that's dicey.
So you can get August tan, but
Exactly.
nothing
like
more.
what you really like. You could just decide to go to a tanning booth. No one would be mad about someone going to a tanning booth.
Yeah, that's true. But that feels temporary. That doesn't feel...
So is this peptide. It doesn't permanently turn you.
So she has to do that
She has to
like
keep
Oh,
it
she's
again.
on a horse dose of that thing.
forever?
Yeah. Until she decides she wants to be white again.
Yeah, exactly.
When she doesn't
Which will
lie.
probably be soon.
Exactly.
Yeah. There she is,
there
Aaron.
she is.
Oh God.
I know.
Can you fucking believe
Right?
that? Also, she has like triple H titties, like
Yeah.
fake.
Oh.
So this notion that she's like on the savannah trying to be Maasai and she has these enormous bolt-ons.
Oh.
It's just wild.
Wait. Okay. I know I'm behind. I have so many questions.
Yeah,
No,
it
go
does.
ahead.
Her hair.
I know, that's
right,
what I
the
said.
hair is very confusing. Now, if there were a peptide that I could take that would give me thick hair, I would do it in a second.
You don't get to.
Or do I? Maybe
No.
I will. I'm already putting a topical on to try to keep it as thick as possible. And that's not a problem. It seems like the difference is like whether it's external or internal is like the
That is a
tipping
difference for me. I
Yeah.
don't know why.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it is changing like cellularly, which I think is bad
Yeah.
or unfair.
Yeah.
Just, yeah.
I don't think there's much going on with this talk outside of Los
I was
Angeles
gonna.
right now.
Okay, that's a good question I had.
I'm
Yeah, maybe
joking.
this is like
and when I say that, I just mean in Michigan. I
Yeah,
haven't
I
heard one
am
person
curious
talk about it.
that.
well, no, this is likely a conversation that will be happening in the rest of the country in a couple years.
Yeah,
just like
exactly.
every other thing that starts here. Minimally, we would agree these are really kind of arbitrary lines we draw everywhere. I
They are.
draw them too.
They are.
I draw them too. Like, yeah, I think me going and getting facial reconstructive surgery and getting Brad Pitt's nose and stuff, for me, for whatever reason, that is a betrayal of who I was born to be.
Mm-hmm.
And then taking testosterone and eating lots of protein and working out, that's not to me.
Right,
And it's just,
right.
I decided that,
Right.
you know?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. That's
Like I want Brad Pitt's body in Fight Club, and I'm happy to go pursue it in any way I can. And I would not be happy trying to pursue his face in any way I could.
Well,
and
you're
that's
not
just so
trying to
interesting.
pursue it. You wouldn't. Well, maybe you would. You wouldn't like go get surgery if there was a surgery.
I wouldn't get it. To
You
be
wouldn't
jacked.
do
No, I
that.
wouldn't get like calf implants.
Right.
Or,
Exactly.
Yeah. So right, there's some weird line where my muscles also have to be real.
Yeah.
It's all so arbitrary.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
It is. But it's just feeling like there's really just shaky ground everywhere, and I just don't know what's.
Well,
I
just-
just need to be. What I need to do is just get very clear with myself of what matters to me. Like it doesn't. whatever everyone else does is what everyone else does. That's fine. But I just need to like sit with what I.
And by the
believe.
way, this is the tip of the iceberg. Like this is
Mm-hmm.
what's going to happen in cascade fashion over our lifetime.
Yeah, I know.
Like the stuff's coming out hourly.
Yeah,
You're
I
like,
know.
what? They can do that? What? They brought back dire wolves today. I don't know if you saw that in the news.
From Game of Thrones.
Yes.
What do you mean?
Those wolves that are referenced in Game of Thrones, they got DNA off something and they've brought them back.
They're real?
Big ass wolves.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yikes.
I mean, they're not going to
but
be.
again, it's like, then what are we going to do? Bring back a dinosaur?
I hope
No.
so too.
Yes.
You guys are
I want
not,
a
you haven't
baby
learned
one for my
anything
room.
From any movie.
What kind do you want your?
I want a baby
Is that it?
brontosaurus.
Yeah.
Oh. Have you ever heard Aaron say that?
That is a cute. Yeah, I have.
He does it so
I
good.
know.
We do one, Aaron.
You want to do it?
Yeah.
Did I do that?
It's like a synthesizer's in his throat.
Okay. Monica Lewinsky. Facts.
Monica Lewinsky facts.
Okay. What does it mean for Mercury to be in retrograde? In astrology, Mercury in retrograde means the planet Mercury appears to move backward in the sky from Earth's perspective. And astrologers believe this period can lead to miscommunications, travel delays, and other challenges related to Mercury's domains of communication, travel, and technology. During a Mercury retrograde period, astrologers believe that communication can become more challenging. Oh, I already said that. Sorry.
That's proof of it.
We are probably in retrograde right now because it goes into retrograde roughly every 30 days, and each retrograde cycle lasts for about 3 weeks. So we have very few days where we're not in retrograde, it seems, which I don't understand that part.
It seems like it'd have to be exactly 50-50. It's going to
Right.
approach as the exact same amount of time it retreats.
Yeah, I don't get it.
I don't get it either, but astrology doesn't make sense. So that's why it's consistent with astrology a little bit.
Sure.
That makes me think Aaron's daughter's born on leap year.
Oh,
so she's
that's
only
so rare.
She's only 4 years old.
Oh no, she's not 4 yet.
Oh, she's not.
Yeah.
She's driving, but she's not 4 yet.
Yeah.
Well, what is that on her license? 4. But they let her drive.
Holds a
Oh
rattle
my
for her picture.
That's so cute.
yeah,
she's
she's-
not
she'll be-
4.
Oh, she used to hate that when she was young, but she has embraced it fully and loves, every.
Okay.
Yeah,
good.
I would feel
It's
very
unique.
robbed that 2 years in a row your birthday doesn't even pop up on the calendar.
I know, but you're so unique.
Yeah, she's embraced the uniqueness.
Yeah.
It used to be though, because she's the baby, and
Uh-huh.
so they're like, "You're one."
Yeah,
And,
you would make
yeah.
her.
Like that's all you gotta say is "You're one." Like you're, and they can say it for 4 years
Oh,
to you
God.
that you're one. So yeah,
That's tough.
she would cry and hated being one.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah,
It's going to really work in her favor the older she gets. She's going to be 16.
Yeah,
When
when
she's
she's
80?
50. Yeah. How have you liked your new tattoo?
oh, I love it.
Oh, good.
yeah.
Yeah, good. Because it was a
lot of-
last minute decision.
It was. I mean, why
Yeah.
the hell not?
Yes.
I'm very
We're so old.
excited. You and I got matching tattoos.
Me too.
I've told a lot of people, just too cute.
Just too
And
cute.
when we're together, it's just two cuties.
Just two cuties. That's what it stands for.
Does anyone think it has to do with Jesus Christ?
Not yet.
Okay.
But
But
it can in the right company. It
yeah,
means,
does now.
Right?
what would it mean? Jesus to Christ.
Jesus to Christ.
Yeah, two.
Well-
I love
Christ.
Jesus twice as much.
The second coming of Christ.
Second coming. It's all
Oh.
about the second coming.
Oh, that's.
Yeah, it's the sequel of JC.
Oh God.
JC2.
So you're. Oh my God. It's claiming that you yourself are the second coming.
No, just you're declaring I can't wait for the
Yeah.
second
Oh,
coming.
I see. Okay. Okay. Number of married people in the United States in the 80s versus now. In 2023, there were 62.18 million married couples in the United States. This is an increase from 40.2 million married couples in 1960. While the number of married couples in the U.S. has increased in the past few decades, this could very well be just due to a population change. Since the U.S. population has been increasing, the marriage rate has decreased significantly since 1990. In addition, the divorce rate has almost halved since 1990. Oh!
That's kind of good news. So less people are getting married, but more people are staying married.
Yeah.
Higher percentage are staying married.
It says,
I guess that's a silver lining.
Despite concerns that more people are getting divorced than in years past. Okay, now, did Molly Ringwald marry a Beastie Boy? No.
Did you think that?
No.
Okay.
Okay, now...
Not Mandela effect.
Correct. The Menendez brothers... Eric's 54, Lyle's 57, Monica's 51. So she missed high school with Lyle.
But was there for
with Eric.
a year or two.
Monica Lewinsky went to high school with the Menendez brothers.
Wow. Can't wait to
While
hear
it
this.
happened-
That's how Stinchcomb came up.
Yeah.
Because I was like,
okay.
can you imagine going to high school with that circus going on? Because he was still the younger brother was still in high school, right?
Yeah, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Crazy.
Scary. Well, that's it for Miss Monica.
Oh, it was
Do you think
lovely...
Hermione hangs out with Monica Lewinsky?
I hate to say this because I really do like Miss Lewinsky, but I prefer my mom, Monica Padman.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. She's a very good mom.
I do care deeply for him. Even though he's an old man,
That's
think.
okay. Everything's always
Sometimes
okay.
I don't know when he's here and when he's left, you know?
He's always.
Yeah, he's
I
always.
very rarely leave my apartment. When you find a place you like where I'm at in Colorado, New Mexico, Arizona, USA, you stick around.
Yeah. All right, that's it for Monica.
All right, love you.
Yay.
Love you, Aaron.
Love yous.